Join me here at Macdonald Armouries in the Scottish Borders. A lovely sunny day, and I wanted to just cover a wee topic about blade construction and form, and one that's quite crucial to the form of any good knife blade or sword blade, particularly sword blades, and that is distal taper. So the taper of a blade going down from what we call the shoulders down to the point is what we call profile taper. The distal taper is the taper of the thickness of the blade, and I'm a wee bit stoury today because I've been grinding, and I've been grinding these first pattern FS knife blades, and I haven't ground the diamond section on these blades, only ground the distal taper, which I hope you can see something of here, that we're going from 6.5mm thick steel here down much thinner here, and we'll just get an idea as to the thicknesses going down to here. Should be about 2.5 mil. Two point, yeah, 2.3, 2.7, 2.7, and 2.7 mil. So these are all hand ground by hand and eye, and really working to within a few tenths of a millimetre by hand and eye, and grinding down that distal taper. But why is this crucial? It's quite crucial because if you don't do that, you end up with a very thick blade overall, which in the hand becomes heavier overall, and that's disastrous for any sword. Any sword has to be light and fast first, and obviously for any blade like an FS knife, which is designed primarily not for cutting but for thrusting with the point, then it takes the blade steel down to a minimum thickness really, which is better for penetrating thrusting into soft target. So this is an original first pattern FS knife made by Wilkinson Sword, of course, and this has got a slight, this is missing about 2mm, 2.5mm maybe from the point, broken intentionally or otherwise, and that comes down to about 1.1 mil thick at the point from at the guard here, almost a full 5mm thick. So going from 5mm down to 1.1mm in thickness. I'll compare here. This is one of my own first pattern knives, and we're going from, yep, bang on 5 down to right at the point we're at 1mm. So that would be pretty much the same for that original, had it had the original point here. But you'll see exactly the same on sword blades. This is an original early 18th century Highland hilted sword, but it's actually got GR and a crown here, a government cipher, so it's been for government use. That is early 18th century, we could say, and right at the guard here, there's a full 8mm thick on the spine here, and it gets progressively thinner with the distal taper to the point, and that point is no more 0.7 of a millimetre. Believe that, going right down to 0.7 of a millimetre. But this is not unusual for sword blades, even going right back to Viking period, if you want to call it. Scandinavian blades, they're remarkably thin and light and fast overall. This is 3.3, 3.4mm thick at the guard here, and this is a reproduction I made of an original sword from the Duke of Argyll's collection in Inveraray Castle, and my challenge to myself was to make it not just approximate, you know, but to the same gram in weight overall, and it took 2 different grips to achieve that, because the first was about 4 grams over, so I made a second one, and we got it down to 936 grams overall. But it's a great example of a very light, fast broadsword. 3.34mm at the guard, going down to, yes, 0.7mm again. And this is fullered, it's got the channels, the fullers running down the blade, and that second fuller running to within 1.5 inches of the point, so getting very, very thin in the steel in that fuller. My heart was in my mouth crafting it, I can tell you. But again, for other knife types, this looks like a broad, heavy blade. I'm sure you'll agree it's a smatchet. This is my own reproduction smatchet, based on the originals, designed by Fairbairn, of Fairbairn and Sykes fame. It's very broad, but it's just over 4mm, 4.1mm thick down here, but a distal taper again to remove that weight progressively down the blade. And right here at the point, oh come on, we are down to 0.8mm. So even removing the weight all the way down that, and with this big muckle pommel here, it's remarkably light and swift in the hand. It takes the whole, that weight reduction with that pommel combination takes the balance point right to about the guard. So you have to use this blade more with your hand and arm, as you would for an edge of hand blow. That way. Here's another couple of examples here. Here's a 1796 pattern infantry officer sword blade. Extricate that. This is a lovely example with a nice deep fuller running pretty much all the way to the point. And at the guard, thickest point, 8.4mm thick. So really quite substantial thickness here. But the distal taper all the way, taking this at the point, 0.5mm, 0.5mm thick, and this is what gives you incredibly flexible blade with it, and light and fast at the point of this for swift manipulation. That's the idea. And just one last one here. This is a glorious example, recently acquired, of a 1796 British Light Cavalry sabre blade, which actually gets broader towards the point. Right, so it's broader here than it is down at the shoulders, but not heavier, because that distal taper runs at the guard from a full 9mm, oh sorry, 8.8mm thick, right down. Bearing in mind it's also got a triangular section and it's fullered, so all this steel's been removed in process. Coming right down at the point to 1.1mm, no more than 1.1mm thick at the point. Yep, one right down at the tip here. And that is the whole point of weight reduction down the blade as you go. It gives the blade flexibility, it removes the weight towards the point of the blade where you need it moving swiftly, but it retains the strength down at the guard where the shoulders of the blade come in at 90 degrees here to accommodate your whole grip structure. So there we go, folks, just a wee brief on the idea of distal taper in blades, a crucial aspect of crafting blades, and has been for thousands of years really. So that's just a wee insight at this modern wee armoury here today in the Scottish borders. Hope that's been of interest, and I'm going to say it for the first time here, if you like this and you'd like to see more videos, like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and hope to see you again soon. Cheers.